Hello VC, this is John K, TechHead, new video. I didn't post anything in the last couple of weeks, I think, but I bought a lot of records, and to be honest, I spent more than I supposed to this month. It's my first time that I spend more money that I supposed to, and I'm feeling a little bit of guilty, but one way or another, I believe that some months are like that, and some other months you are not really in the mood to buy loads and loads of records. Give me your opinion on that because uh, I think it's a very nice topic to discuss. I'm sure most of us are setting budgets and allowance limits on how many records or how many money can we spend monthly. This month for me was a good one, but as you can see, as I spent a lot of money. I'm gonna start showing records. Before that, I'm gonna remind you once again that our personal dub baptism release will be out officially next week, and I was thinking to make it a contest here in the vinyl community. I give one test press to the winner, but the problem is that I only have four test presses, and dub baptism is me and my studio partner project. On the EP you can find more two remixes, so uh, if we take one test pressing each, there will not be any to give as a contest, but I will figure out something in the future. Maybe I can give you some final copies or some t-shirts from our radio station deeptechno.fm. If you like dub techno music, dub techno is more deep, more dark, and more acoustic kind of techno, not really pumping. If you like this kind of music, give my radio station a listen. I'm gonna put the URL down. It's deeptechno.fm, and our dub techno project that we're composing music as producers. One of our names. This is the newest one, only one release. The first one will be out next week, um, called Dub Baptism. The first record will be out. Anyway, enough talking. Let's go with some records. I think that I'm buying lots of funk and funky jazz, jazz funk, and international music lately. I don't know why. I'm really in the mood of buying records like that, and lots of reissues. I believe that it's not easy to find original copies anymore. In Berlin, I know this place is full of record stores, but wherever I'm going in the record shops, there are lots of reissues and just a few original copies. Anyway, nothing in the background today. I'm gonna keep it like that for this video. I'm gonna start with a 45. This is George Ben, one of the most famous Brazilian singers, songwriter, composers. George Ben and Tuquinho. This is Carolina Carol Bella on the one side, and from the other side is Joao Donato Ara. From Mr. Bongo. Mr. Bongo is a pretty cool label that they're releasing 45s, rare Brazilian stuff, Brazilian 45s. And if you have no idea about who Hulk Ben is, do a research. Lots of his original records are very expensive and very hard to find, but there are a lot of reissues, not very cheap reissues, but reissues. And this guy, if you like Brazilian music, you definitely need to check him out. This was a pretty cool 45 from Mr. Mongo Brazilian label. I'm gonna try to find now an LP that I got from him. Not sure if it's my favorite LP by George Ben, but really this thing uh, is a masterpiece. From start to finish, George Ben Forza Bruta. Yeah, here's the title. As I told, this is Brazilian singer songwriter stuff, bossa nova, quite bossa nova with bongos and congas, and 10 out of 10 for me. One of the few records that it's amazing, and when I want to listen to some good music and I want to find some good records, this is an example of what I was looking for and what I want to find. Perfect. Once again, the title. One more EP that I was looking for. I used to have his first release. I think this is his second album. This is an instrumentalist called Melvin Sparks. This is funky jazz, yeah. Funky as hell, brilliant record. I really loved his first album, but this one also is amazing. It's called Aquila by Melvin Sparks. This is the reissue. I think it's not impossible to find the original copy, but I wasn't patient at all when I saw this in front of me. I just grabbed it, give it a needle drop, and immediately wanted to hear it. Highly recommended funk jazz. Melvin Sparks. If you don't know the artist, go check him out. This and his first album for sure. I'm collecting lots of Blue Note stuff, but before that, I'm gonna show you this one, another reissue from Jill Scott Heron. This is African, inspired by African music, soul. Yeah, this is soul actually, with quite funky, but not. This is mainly soul. Jill Scott Heron, this is not his most famous album, of course, but it was a pretty nice LP. It's called Bridges, the reissue. Quite a few interesting tracks on this LP. Let me find something else to show you. Here it's a famous soundtrack which it was missing from my collection, La Planète Sauvage, bande sonore originale du film La Planète Sauvage. Sorry for my terrible French. This is a soundtrack. I think this record don't need a lot of speaking. Amazing soundtrack music, funky and electronic and organic grooves. Never saw the film actually. A lot of people are telling me that this is a very nice film, but the soundtrack is amazing. You really can't go wrong with this soundtrack. Let me show you some more international stuff. This was a holy grail for me, and I found it last month on eBay. This is an original copy of Latino Console Joe Torres, still sealed, as you can see. Joe Torres is Brazilian American artist. Something like Mongo Santa Maria, but with vocals and pretty nice songs. Really funky, Latin feeling, amazing record. Also, I was very, very surprised and very happy of how those pressings sounds. The sound quality is perfect, perfect. I mean, I don't know if this is the situation in all of the reissues and the original pressings, but in this case, of course, this thing is not reissued yet. Here's the label. If you ever see this in front of you in a reasonable price, because this thing is quite expensive, give it a try. One of the best, one of my best, at least my collection's best LPs. And when I say my collection, I don't mean the records that you're watching behind me. This is only my Berlin collection because, as I told you in my last videos, I left all of my records back to Greece. But I'm pretty busy right now listening to new stuff. A soul record, not a soul record, sorry, blues record by Bo Diddley. This is my first blues LP. I'm not a big blues collector, but this was a killer blues EP. Uh, I'm not sure, and I can't recommend something else on this genre, but for me, this was a good killer record to start appreciating blues music. Blues rock and roll kind of stuff. Bo Diddley, really funky, really up tempo. This is the new reissue again, quite cheap. You can find it quite cheaply, so give it a try. I picked up this one. I'm also not a big collector of this kind of music, but I think this is a 60s classic. The Ronettes plus Veronica. This is the reissue. This is the second pressing, I think, because there is another version with another cover, but this was very cheap. I found it in front of me. I just grabbed it. The Ronettes is a 60s band, a little bit cheesy, but guilty pleasure. Be My Baby, very famous single from the 60s. 11 minutes. I think this is gonna be my biggest video ever, but let's do it. Why not? Jimmy Thomas, Why Can't We Live Together? eBay find, €1 find actually, plus shipping. Why Can't We Live Together is the most famous song on this thing, out on Polydor, original UK copy. Good find, famous track. The whole EP is, something like that, something like the style of Why Can't We Live Together. Acoustic, slow, hypnotic. I was listening to this thing some days ago in the afternoon and really relaxing music, why not? Nothing special, I mean, it's well known music, but you need some basics in your collection, I think. You can't only, at least that's my approach, you can't only take the strangest things of all the music and get it. You need some basics. Of course, you need Beatles and you need everything in your collection. That's my major problem at the moment because I'm spending lots of money on records again. BT Express, €5 find on a record shop. I grabbed them. Not their best album, but I gave it a listen and it was quite cool album. Non-stop gatefold on what label is that? We will find out. When we open it, EMI. EMI German pressing. Lots of German pressings lately, but I guess it's normal because I'm in Berlin. It was the same situation when I was in Greece. I was finding lots of 80s Greek pressings, which might be exotic for you. Of course, they're not valuable, but let me show you some Blue Note stuff. Lou Donaldson, instrumentalist, gatefold on Blue Note, funk jazz, yeah, kind of stuff. Well-known album, at least it was for me, and I just saw it in front of me. Actually, a guy from the record shop told me that a new label has bought all the rights from Blue Note Records, and from now on, all the releases are going to be released in high quality pressings, and it will be very expensive, like €25 or something like that. So no more Blue Note 10 to €15 range reissues. So that means that when we're gonna see something cheap from Blue Note, we need to grab it because from now on, maybe next year or something like that, will not easy to find cheaply Blue Note reissues. Anyway, this is Lou Donaldson Say It Loud. Didn't have the time to listen to it yet completely, but I nearly dropped it, and this is my kind of jazz, funky jazz. One more on Blue Note, reissue again. Hank Mobley, Dipping. Lee Morgan on the trumpet. You don't need anything else. Harold Marburn, piano, Larry Diddle, Billy Hinkins on drums. This was a very nice mixture between Latin jazz with you can hear the Latin and the bossa nova instruments on this thing. Check it out, really good record, very good record, not very well known on Blue Note Records. Deeping by Hump Mobley. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna show you two more Blue Note records. Still sealed, didn't have the time to listen to it, but it is from my favorite, one of my favorites at least, Blue Note artists, Lee Morgan. This is Cornbread, and this is The Cooker. This was more Lee Morgan's earlier stuff, and this is more like Lee Morgan's newer stuff, like the Trompe L'Oeil and the normal Lee Morgan style. On both out on Blue Note reissues, still sealed. Didn't have the time to listen to them yet, but of course I streamed them online and I highly recommend them. Yeah. Mulatu of Ethiopia. This is Ethiopian jazz from Mulatu. Mulatu was a jazz artist from Ethiopia, but he went to study music to London and New York, I think, anyway, in USA. And then he returned back to Ethiopia and he did some interesting jazz combinations between the modern US jazz and with some Ethiopian elements. I think this is a killer of a record. Highly recommended. Mulatu of Ethiopia, of course, is the reissue. There's also one more of Mulatu, which is reissued. You can check them out. Personally, I like this more, that's why I grab it. But there is another one LP by Mulatu out on Worthy Records. Yeah, 18 minutes. This is officially my biggest video ever. I was always wondering how VC members are doing big videos, but you see now I'm doing it too, so. Well, this is Darondo, limited edition yellow, clear yellow vinyl, as you can see. Darondo is a singer, soul singer. Yeah, this is more soul funk, but it's mostly soul. This one was supposed to be out in the 70s, but the record label didn't release it all. They only released a single from here. Yeah, the third one, Didn't I? This was the only thing that was released in the 70s. And they just released this record some years ago, I think 2006, 2000, something like that. Can't remember the official release date of this. First they released something else, another EP by Dorando, and after that they released this record. And this is, I think, last year's limited edition yellow vinyl, which I didn't dropped it, liked it in a record shop. Yeah, there are 3 or 4 songs that I really like them here. It's a good album, not a killer one, but it is a good recommendation if you like soul music. And also the whole thing with a yellow vinyl limited edition always makes it more, more difficult to don't buy it. So I did. Dorando, listen to my song. An early electronic record. I'm in Germany, you know it, and there are a lot of early electronics stuff here. This is Standman. I didn't knew that artist, but I found the cover of this record very beautiful, and the music is normal Jean-Michel Jarre stuff of early electronics music. You can also do this thing with the cover. Really forward thinking, and I really like the design here too, with the synthesizers. Really ahead of its time, I think, and because I'm a techno producer, and this is my, aesthetic. We have some synthesizers too for our record music productions, so I really like this aesthetic. It's strange because I'm listening to a lot of techno stuff, I'm producing techno music, and lately I'm buying lots of jazzy and funk and organic music, which is strange. I'm listening to a lot of organic music on vinyl, and digitally I'm listening to other stuff. Give me also your opinion on that. Sometimes I'm feeling strange, but anyway, I'm not gonna keep this too short. I only gonna show, I think, a couple of more records, and I will let left some more from the next video. This is a jazz compilation, fantastic jazz, exactly the jazz that I want to hear. Mojo Club presents Dance Floor Jazz. This is a jazz compilation with artists like, hope you can see it, if not Jimmy Smith, Roy Ayers, Art Blakey, Kenny Burrell. Very funky jazz. Amazing record, highly recommended. And maybe I save the best for last. Well, if not the best, one of the best records. I picked up the 3 vinyl set of Fela Kuti. You can't collect international music, African music, without having one record of Fela Kuti. That was my case. That's why I picked this up. Didn't have the time to listen to it yet, but how wrong can we go with a 3 record set of Fela Kuti, really? You can't. When I'm gonna finish the video, I'm gonna listen to this thing. Grab it up because it's limited. This is around 30 euros, but 100% worth it, I think. Fela Kuti. That was it. Give me a comment if you like what you saw. Let's interact, and I'm gonna think about ideas for my next contest. I'm gonna give you some records from our personal release, which is limited, 300 copies, pressed on white crystal, clear white, smoky. It's a strange vinyl record. That's it for now. We see. Let's don't make the video bigger. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me, and see you in a couple of weeks or so. Bye.